Good morning. It's Monday morning. We're going to start today we're going to read The Snail and the Whale. But before we read our book, we're going to make some pancakes for breakfast. So we're going to start first by washing our hands, because we always wash our hands before we cook. So this morning we're going to make some pancakes. It's a pretty simple way to do it. We're going to need pancake mix. We're going to need some water. And I'm going to add some blueberries to it. I know a lot of people like to put chocolate chips in it, but we're going to do blueberries today. Okay, so our directions say heat the griddle to 375, which is a medium heat. So I'm going to turn this on. I've already got it warmed up so we can get going. Okay, and then we're going to take, for 6 to 7 4-inch pancakes, we're going to do 1 cup of mix and 2/3 cup of water. This one says 1 cup. I don't know if you can see it. It says 1 cup, and this one says 2/3 of a cup. Okay, so we're going to get our 1 cup of our mix. I'm going to pour it into the measuring cup. We're going to seal that back up. We're going to get our 2/3 cup of water. Stir that up. We don't have to get it all the way smooth, but get a lot of the bumps out. And I like my pancakes a little thinner, so I'm going to add some more water. I'm going to add a little bit at a time until it gets to the consistency that I like it. Okay, a little bit more. And I'm going to put a little bit of butter onto the stove, onto the pan. We're going to pour. I do bigger pancakes, so I do 2 at a time. Okay, so when you make pancakes, you watch on here and you look for the bubbles. And when most of the bubbles are all popped, that means that the pancake's ready to get flipped. I'm going to add my frozen blueberries. Are you watching the bubbles? I'm going to wash my hands while you watch the bubbles. See how they're starting to pop around here? We want to get some more popped in the middle, otherwise it'll be kind of runny in the middle. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. you guys had a good vacation or a good time off on your spring break. Hope you did some extra fun stuff. I went up to my grandkids' house and to see my son and his wife, and we had a good time. Okay, it's looking pretty good. So I will flip this one. Ooh, a nice good brown color. This one needs a little bit longer. Push that blueberry back up there. We wait for a little bit to let the other side cook, and then our pancakes will be all done. I'm going to turn my stove off. I'm going to put the pancakes on the plate. And I like to put the butter on the pancakes when they're still hot, so that butter will get all melted in to the pancake. Okay, now our pancakes are done. And so that's how you make pancakes. You could either eat them with just the blueberries or you could add some syrup. Now, let's go read our book. Okay, so the name of the book is The Snail and the Whale, and it's written by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. I don't know if I got those names right, but it's okay. Okay. Actually, I'm going to have to turn the book on the other side because it's a little bit dark in here this morning. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as a soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. Do snails have feet? That was silly. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. Doesn't that look pretty? These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wiggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sniffed and sighed, then cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a ride." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a slivering trail that looped and curled and said, "Ride wanted around the world." See, here's the trail, and that's where the snail rode it, on the rock. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out for the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." Ooh, that looks cold, all those icebergs. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail. to towering icebergs and far-off lands. With fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where colored fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam past the whale and the snail on his tail. I almost couldn't read those words. They're really dark on that dark background. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning, flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. That looks pretty stormy. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all. And she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splittering roar and making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. Uh-oh. And this is the whale beached in a bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to the sea," cried the snail. I can't move on land, I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. "Then I've got it," she cried, and started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot, and this is the snail with the itchy foot. "A snail, a snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look," say the children, "it's leaving a trail of the tiny snail, a slivery trail saying, 'Save the whale.'" These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, "Hooray!" as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, "How time's flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves, and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the great blue humpback whale. Okay, you guys have a great week, and I will see you again next Monday. Bye.